Hi guys, Alec, Peirce at the ranch once again with an idea that just might save you a little bit of time and trouble. It might be a good idea. If you have a great idea, share it with me too, huh? But anyway, you all know what this is. If you live in the country, certainly if you're a farmer or a rancher, and you certainly know what this is. This is an auger. For those of you that don't know, you folks that live in the burbs and you want to live in the country, you're going to have to get one of these. That's an auger. Pardon me. Yeah, it makes holes in the ground. That's what it's for. Hooks up to the back of your tractor, big or small. My tractor's not a monster. It's what's called a compact tractor, 35 horse. But every farmer, every rancher has to have an auger. You have to have one. Every fence hole that you make, anytime you want to put something in the ground that's permanent, certainly if you live in the northern climate, as we do here in Canada, you know, when you put things on the ground, you have to dig down 3.5 to 4 feet minimum. You have to be down that far. If you don't, whatever you stick in the ground will be laying on the ground in the spring. That is the way it works. So you have to go down that far, below the frost line. To do that, you need an auger. It's the only way. Now, it's not the only way. My dad did it by hand. I actually have his fence post tool. I'll show it to you in just a minute, but no, I don't do that. So this is an auger. Everybody knows what it is. Now what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is this. Everybody has one. Everybody needs one. When you want it, it has to be handy. When you don't want it, you want it out of the way. Gone. But still protected. So how do you store it? That's what this is about. This is how do you store your auger. A lot of my neighbors, because I'm around, I visit my neighbors, we chat and so on. And I see how they store their auger. In many cases, they just lay it on the ground. They don't lay it on the ground, it stands up. They find some place back in the corner of the shed or outside, in most cases outside, because you know they're waterproof, and then they put them outside. A couple of guys I know, that's kind of funny, when they finish working with it, they drill it into the ground. Not too far, a couple of feet. Then they detach the tractor and drive away. And there it sits. It doesn't fall over because it's in a hole in the ground. But anyway, and that's all just fine if that's what they do. But when they come back, they got to clean it. It's got dirt on it. It's got rust on it. The auger, you know, they're made of steel, so they do rust. It's just a nuisance. Also, sometimes, if it's sitting on the ground and it falls over, now you got to pick the darn thing up to get the tractor to hook it up. And, you know, they're not stupid heavy. Probably 200 pounds, but to do by yourself is a nuisance. So I struggled with the same thing. Finally, I came up with this idea, and it's worked perfect. I've done it perfectly. I've done this for a couple of years now, and it works really, really well. What did I do? Well, it's very simple. I had the auger on the tractor, and then I backed the tractor into my drive-in shed, and as I come back to this corner, this is the back of the shed, when I come back to this corner, I back the tractor into a bit of an angle. So if you can picture, tractor, auger's on the tractor, and I stop right here. So I'll raise the auger as high as I possibly can, and then, here's the trick. Right up here, Kevin. I have a chain hanging from the ceiling. Just a simple chain, goes up to the rafters, and it has a chain hook on it. Maybe you see that chain hook there. You could put a carabiner, a threaded hook on there if you wanted to, but a chain hook, they're super strong. They work really, really well. And I just pull that chain snugly around the auger right here, put the chain hook in, and then I can release the 3-point hitch in the tractor, and the auger sits there. I pull the pins out. I tie the PTO up so it doesn't sit in the ground and get rotted, and I drive away. And it's out of the way right there. I have a little piece of rope actually at the back, and I use to keep it straight so I can bring the tractor in and out with the mower and the snowblower on it when I need it. And then when I need the auger, I take the rope off, I turn the auger like this, I back the tractor in, ba-ba-ba-doo, 2 pins, check out, lift it, take the hook off and drive away. So, super, super handy, out of the way, and well protected. Now the only thing I'm going to suggest is, although these are not heavy, most sheds, most barns today, if it's fairly new, and this is about 20 years old, they were built using trusses. Trusses. My dad and I, 100 years ago, it seems anyway, built buildings, and we actually put beams across. And then we actually built rafters on the beams. They don't do that anymore. Now they're trusses. So you tell the guy how high you want it, how wide, and he makes a truss up. And trusses are great because the truss sits on your top frame. Your top plate just sits on there. You fasten it down with some wind ties, and it just sits there. You put the roof on, and it's over with. The trusses all come made up, and they're really handy. But trusses do have, maybe you don't know this, but trusses do have a deficiency, if you like. They are designed to take load on top. So if the truss is pushing down, if the weight's pushing down, they won't break. You can have a load of snow, the roof, you can walk on it, and they're great. They are not designed to be pulled from the bottom. So these cross pieces, these rafters, if you like, that run across, not the rafters, but the joists that run across, you're not supposed to put much weight on that. They're not designed to do that. They're designed to take pressure from the top only, not from the bottom. So if you take this and just throw that chain over one of those joists, part of the truss, if it's a truss in your barn, may not be too good, may not be too strong. Okay, so what I did, I took an iron bar, and I put an iron bar across there, and it runs across 1, 2, 3, 4. It runs across 4 of those joists, the bottom, the plate, the bottom part of the truss, 4 of them. And then I put the chain around the iron bar. So the weight of this is spread across 4 of those. Not a problem at all. Just hangs there. Okay, just that simple. I turn it like this. I have a little rope here, and I take the rope, and I tie the rope onto here, and it's out of the way. I can take the tractor out, pick up the snowblower anytime I want, and that just sits right there out of the way, and it's done. So there you go. There's a tip. If you have an auger, and you live on a ranch, you have an auger. I know you do. Fencing is one of the, well, you might think it's one of our favorite activities because we're doing it all the time, but not really. It's just the defenses always need repair. But if you have fencing and so on, you have horses, cattle, whatever, you have to have an auger. You must have one. There's an idea, just an idea on how you can store it quickly, easily, efficiently, keep it in good shape when it's handy. Maybe there's something there for you. Alec, Peirce at the ranch. Hope that was some help. Talk to you again real soon.